G'day everyone, Alex McKellar here again with another Top Split racing video. This time we're at Zandvoort, around 10, season 2, 2022, all the twos. Yeah, look, great to be at Zandvoort. Racing at Winton, whilst it was enjoyable, it sort of killed participation. This week, already off to a flying start. Several 3 and even a 4K soft, very early days in the week. So numbers aren't necessarily massive yet as people start to adjust to a new track, but certainly I feel like the quality of the racing's been very enjoyable so far. Interesting to note the temperature of the track was only 18 degrees, which has been pretty consistent. It also means a lot of grip and a lot of fun racing in the right company. Oh, hang on, we'll go to this one first. Ant Jones, Team Torpeado. Great man himself, dropped it on pole. I managed to jag a second spot start alongside him. Great to race with Ant, always is. Great friend of the channel and supporter of what we do, and he's also great to race with. Haven't raced with Roddy, I think, single D, Roddy van der Meijden, the Dutch driver, stuck it on the second row next to the head clan himself, Vasco Sorosky. Vasco and I were in Discord together for this one, having a laugh, and we got a good little rivalry going. It's a bit of fun, and it pushes us both to be better. Fifth off the grid, Erwin Zoma. Had a chance to race with Erwin a bit. Road America. I haven't raced with him a lot before that. I know of him, and he's quick, and he proved himself to be a good heady racer as well. Ryan Portelli, shout out to Ryan. He and I had a coming together at Winton last week. I got a bit salty, and shout out to Ryan. Sorry for getting a bit salty, mate. Hopefully no hard feelings, and we can get on with the racing. Team Milo boss man, Russell Clark III. Great to see him back out on track after a mid-season break. He's down in 7th ahead of Paul Wilson, another ANZ driver there, regular in SNL. The other 3 drivers I haven't raced with before, and interestingly, whilst it's only an 11-car field, it was a decent strength of field, actually. It was about 3,900, just under 4K. So good points and the like on offer. So on that note, why don't we get ready to race? We'll chuck all the stuff up and we'll get underway for 13 laps here at Zandvoort. Fun track. I don't remember enjoying racing here as much as I have early this week. It's been a lot of fun, and I think a lot of that's a part of that's who you're racing with too. It's been good. So turn 1, primary passing opportunity on the track course, and Roddy behind had a look but backed out. I did the same on Ant up front, and Vasco stayed where pretty much everyone stayed where they were, with the exception of Russell, who unfortunately dropped a spot to Wilson, to Paul there through turn 1. This is a challenging circuit, lots of elevation changes. This up here at turn 7, quite a feature of this track. Come over the crest, 4th gear, sweeping right-hander, desperately trying to get through there as quick as you can, carry as much speed without losing the rear of the car. If you do get the opportunity to race here during the week, just be careful on lap 1 or until the tyres come up. In fact, you need to be pretty careful there throughout the whole race, because the rear just wants to depart company with the rest of the car, and it can get pretty messy. So, but having said that, when you get it right, it's super fun to race here. All right, so we're down now. Last chicane for the first time. This is a relatively common passing opportunity if you get the run out of the previous corner at 13, right? But you could actually set it up through the preceding 2 corners potentially. And then here, of course, is the big point. This is where dreams are made out of the final corner. And you see I'm a long way behind. There's no dreaming this time. Well, perhaps I am just dreaming if I think I'm going to pass him into turn 1, which, as I said, is the primary passing opportunity on this track. But no, there's no joy this time. I pulled a little bit right. Oh, as we see Vasco make a big move into turn 1, and he gets it done. Well done. and the rivalry recommences. Vasco and I having a good time this season, racing each other and trying to get the better of one another. And now I could just see it's all starting to play out again. Like I said, Vasco and I were in Discord together, so not only is it good racing, but it's good fun. So you see I'm sticking fourth gear up here. I do that a bit, particularly early on in the races. I just want to sort of uncomplicate the run down the hill there over the crest. It's one less thing to do, drop down into fifth, from fifth to fourth I should say, if I just stay in fourth. And these cars max out at 175 in fourth gear, or thereabouts is the change point. It's actually 178 I think, but 175 was my old change point. I changed a bit earlier now, but no problems with staying in fourth gear there. And I'm not really looking to overtake there, if I'm honest. Not at this stage of the race. Further down the track in the race, you might think about turn 7 as a viable opportunity to overtake. It's a big challenge, but there's the preceding section is essentially a straight. There's Ant. Look at that, he runs a bit wide there out of the chicane at turn 12. He runs a bit wide, and I thought immediately, okay, well that's a good little mental note to save onto for the later stages of the race, because of course this run through here at turn 12 is at turn 14. That's the key moment of the race, or potentially race defining moment, where you can win it or lose it, honestly. So spotting a little chink in the armour there on the exit of the chicane was, well, it was encouraging for me to think, all right, well, maybe there's a bit of vulnerability there, because Ant's super fast. And so he goes a bit wide there through turn 3 as well. Now, this is what I was talking about up to turn 7. It's as long the road does wind a bit, but it's flat and the draft is really, really good. And if you unsettle their run, or you get a better run out of 3, over the crest here at turn 7 is absolutely a passing opportunity. For mine though, it's contextual within the race. If I'm getting pressure from behind, I might attack to defend. But certainly when the moment comes and I'm looking to win the race on the last lap or so, and I have assessed that I can't get them into turn 1 or anywhere else, I mean, you could also attack here at 14. Jeepers, my corner numbers are off today. 10. You can attack there at 10, or indeed down here at 11, 12 at the final chicane. But if I can't, none of those spots are viable, or then I'll look at 7 as well. Pretty sketchy down the hill, but in the right company it's doable. Again, Ant gets a pretty poor run out of 12. And again, this is where I start thinking, okay, dry run. What can we do here with a good run compared? Ant using good track there on the exit of 12. Oh, sorry, on the exit. Oh, yeah, it is 12. Oh my gosh. It's 13. Wow, numbers. So this is me testing, can I get him by the line? And the answer was yes this time round, so that was encouraging. This is the other test. We're going to test our run through the inside. Can we get the overtake done? And remembering that this is a four-way conversation now. It looks like we've dropped Roddy and Portelli out the back. This is down to 4 cars, so it really changes the dynamic. So for me, I'm definitely trying now. I was rehearsing the move and potentially the defining moment of the race when it came down to winning or losing. But also, I'm sort of moving forward so I don't move backwards, because I know Vasco wants to beat me real hard in this race, and he'll be pushing all throughout from behind. So sometimes the best form of defence is attack, as they say. So at the back now through 9 and up to 10. Both are passing opportunities. It's so many places here to pass if you get the run, compared to Winton last week, or even Hungaroring and Knockhill before. This track has got plenty of opportunities to pass, particularly where there's a speed differential, where its speeds are relatively similar, like we have in this pack. you're probably going to limit those a bit. The exception being where mistakes are made, of course, which will bring in other opportunities. Alright, so I was a little bit poor in my run through 13 and 14, which means I'll be vulnerable to attack here. And you can see Vasco pulls out to the right there. I think as much not to use the draft and to sit. And this time we're on the outside. So probably, if you've watched any of my videos before, you've probably heard me say practice inside and outside lines through key parts of the circuit. And there's an example why. You want to be able to get through there safely. Now, I didn't defend that one too hard because Vasco wasn't putting the pressure on too much. If Vasco had put more pressure on there, threatening to go and follow Ant through on the inside, I would have braked deeper and pushed the point harder, and we'd probably be side by side with Ant. Maybe even still at this quarter here at 7. But because Vasco didn't put the pressure on, I was able to take a slightly wider line through turn 1 and allow Ant to go through essentially unchallenged. And I know Vasco wants to push the point, let me tell you. It's been good fun this season. Alright, so again here I'm looking for telltale signs of how I can set up a defining move later in the race. Very difficult to spot your references into some of the corners here. That braking zone in the chicane is typically you reference the curbing on the outside of the entry of the corner. At times I was that close to Ant, as he got a much better run through there, and I'm actually pretty vulnerable to Vasco here. At times I was actually looking through the top left corner of Ant's rear wing to try and spot my reference. It was challenging. So I'll move over to the right here, not to get out of Ant's draft so much as just to dissuade the charging Swarovski behind me if I can. Very, very interesting. I often talk about that non-verbal dialogue of that exchanges between drivers by the nature of where they position their cars on the track, and as I said, Vasco and I were in Discord together. Not a word spoken by me, just where I put my car. Vasco could tell straight away. I was like, look at that. That was a wasted 1x there. A little bump on the grass, just a lapse in concentration. I put my car poorly over there. Disappointing. Anyway, just from where I put my car, Vasco was immediately able to tell what I was doing. I hadn't said anything, but because he was in Discord, I could verify straight away that he knew what I'd done. Because he was like, oh, do I go? I could hear him vocalising that thought process. It was quite interesting. If we hadn't been in Discord, I could have still been able to tell, though, just by where he was positioning his car and what he was doing. He's like, oh, missed the apex there. I was probably thinking a bit too much about Vasco behind me, if I'm honest. And you see, here I was thinking, oh, he might actually have a look here. He might actually have a look, but no. And I wonder if he was just thinking as much as I was about, if we let Ant get away, there's a risk that he runs away with it, because the pace was fairly similar, but I think if anything, Ant probably had the wood on us just by a tenth or so, and if he's got a tenth on us, even half a tenth, if he breaks the draft, he's gone and we don't see him again. So you can see again, Vasco really close here. You can see I actually shorten my exit. I don't use all the track, and I move even further over to the right just to make sure that he's looking on the left. Now he gets Ant's draft here, that's okay, but he's boxed in, and I go much deeper this time into the corner. You can see relative to where I finished with Ant there, the lovely Team Torpeado livery on display, and that's to ward off the Swarovski threat. Oh, so close to Ant through there. I got caught out a little bit. I was trying to push a bit harder than we had in the previous laps because I wanted to just sort of settle the gap with Vasco. But Mr. Jones, who's got possibly the worst luck with netcode of anyone on the planet, I was very pleased that he didn't catch another gentle netcode love tap from a driver from down under there. Anyway, you can see Vasco's putting all sorts of pressure on. You can see by where he's positioning his car in the mirrors. He really wants to get by. I don't know if he even cares about winning the race so much as just getting one up in our rivalry, which is a lot of fun, and it's a subplot to every race we do together. It's good fun. Alright, so we're in the second half of the race now, laps 7 to 13, of course, middle stages of it. Or even coming into the closing stages. Again, I'm looking for signs in front, particularly of... Oh, look at that narrow entry, Alex. That was poor track usage. I'm looking for signs of... Well, see there again, Ant's got... I'm not going to say poor track usage, but you can see I'm pushing harder on exit of the... Oh, and he's grabbed a bit of dirt too. Here's a chance. There's a good chance. Too much of the dirt over there, be careful, because if you're racing here, look at that run, that's good. Again, we're going to test, can we get in by the line? Too much of the dirt on the exit of the final corner will ruin your day. And we got him, or did we get him? I think we did. Shame it wasn't the last lap. 52.9, we're into the 52s, that's good. Again, side by side. And there you go. He got it done on the outside this time. Vasco pushes the point, so I didn't want to go side by side there, but you say I had to, because Vasco wasn't... Well, he was doing exactly what he's entitled to and pushed the point. I didn't want to lose second spot, let me tell you. So, again, I pushed the point there, and you can see what I mean about knowing how to run both lines there is really important, because as much as I, wanted to defend into turn 1 from Ant, who's a bit wide through 7 there, lets me catch up a bit. As much as I wanted to defend on the inside, Vasco chose to go around the outside behind Ant as well, and that was opening up his own opportunity on my compromised line to potentially go past again. So I actually had to push a bit harder through turns 2 and 3 to make sure that didn't happen either. So multiple lines through multiple corners, invaluable there. Alright, closing stages of lap 8, close right up, little lift there. I didn't want to have a look into this chicane, I didn't feel that it was the right time. And once again, I close up in him a little bit, although he gets better drive. See how I'm further over to the right on exit there? Oh, bits of gear. Oh, I was shattered there. Not only let Ant get away, but I had a big blue and yellow clown car behind me wanting to get past me. Again, I shortened my exit, but I actually stayed. Even though Vasco was quite close there, I stayed long enough to then move over. I wanted to get a bit more draft. Vasco alongside almost this time. Surprisingly, Ant went wide there. I don't know if he was expecting me to brake a lot deeper, and he just left room. But this time, no side by side either way. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if he missed his mark or he just left the room. And, both scenarios are fine, obviously, but leaving room there, look at the context of that moment in the race, right? So by leaving room there, he loses nothing because he's not going to get by in the draft, like he's not going to get away from the draft, he's not going to get overtaken. But what he does by leaving a car with the room on that apex there, assuming it was intentional, and that's the basis of the premise here, it leaves me room to go and reduces our risk. So if I outbrake myself even, a fraction, if he's on the racing line there, we have a collision. Because he recognises that I'm in a battle with Swarovski as well, right? So if he, doesn't leave any margin there, then there's much more risk of an accident happening if I make a mistake. Thankfully, I didn't make a mistake and the margin wasn't necessarily needed, but it's a good, I think, example. Oh, the rear, this is checking right up. I had to make big allowances there. Thankfully, I had some heady racers around me as well. Vasco made allowances as well, as did Irwin in the background, I think. But again, you can see, and again, he grabs some grass on the exit there, or some dirt. Lucky he doesn't spin off there. If you grab too much dirt there, you're off in the wall on the right-hand side of the track. But yeah, that's smart racing on the previous lap through here. And that time we definitely God, I don't know what's showing a checkered flag on the overlays because it's not the end of the race. Anyway, never mind that. Lap 10. And Vasco now, he's attacking and he backs back in behind Jones again. I wonder what's going through Vasco's head at this point, because I know he wants to beat me desperately, and now he's got a car in between us. Anyway, yeah, I made those comments there. As Ant thinks about going around the outside, I keep it to the right until I make sure that, until I'm confident at least that he's not going, and then I open back out to the left to open up the sweeping right-hander. It's really important to have a think about some of those moments in the races and how you approach it to minimise your risk. And as the great man Philippe Labert used to say, a lot of luck in racing is about how you make your own luck. And what Ant did at that turn 1 corner a couple of laps ago, that was absolutely making your own luck and reducing your risk. Good heady play. Alright, we're on lap 10. We'll have 3 to go when we cross the line. Ant very close here, doesn't have a look. Although we've got 3 to go. He's in P2, he's not desperation stakes there with 3 to go. Whereas if you're in P3, P4, potential to have a look there to try and get to P2. You got to remember, it's got to be frustrating Vasco by now, because he's been in P3 the whole race and he hasn't really had any very strong opportunities to move forward. P2 and P1 are where you want to be here. That's where you're going to win the race. This time you see I defended. I thought with 3 to go, it's time to start defending hard. Ant was a lot further forward there. I didn't think there was any chance of getting him here, so Vasco pushing behind led us 2 by 2 again through here. Just come into the sweeping turn 3. We got it settled though. Once I actually knew at turn 1 in the braking zone that Ant had the better run through there, because he was, more than, we weren't axle to axle in terms of front axle to front axle. He was ahead, and on the outside line there, where you're attacking, if you're further forward, I think you've probably got the better run there. So I was actually looking for the opportunity to duck back in behind him, but Vasco's doing a good job putting the pressure and forcing us to compromise some of those strategic elements or what we want to do. Didn't get the best run through there, and Vasco's itching to get by. He was starting to get pumped up for the end of the race here, I think, in Discord from memory. Alright, we're not close enough. Neither's Vasco, so we're all staying as stations, or as we were, at least. Again, good run out of here. So I'm looking to attack. I just got to nail the final 2 at 13 and 14. Roughly equivalent run there, which means we'll be on the attack for turn 1. Now I keep it. See how I kept it tight on exit? I wanted to limit Ant's opportunity to cover on the inside, and this time I've got the run and I'm on the inside, so I'm in a better position. Go down to first gear. Normally I run second here, but I want to keep my line tight, leave room on exit, but I'm pretty clear here. So I got the move done on the inside that time, but you can see the difference. As I said in the previous lap, Ant was further alongside. His nose was in front on the outside of turn 1 in the braking zone, and it's a legit passing opportunity around the outside there, because you've got the inside at 2. The inside run into turn 2. Whereas I was further forward that time on the inside, which meant that I probably had the advantage there. So it's interesting, and again, really speaks to practicing both lines through there, because you can get it done on the inside and the outside, both attacking and defending. All right. Despite the overlay saying the race is over for the front 3, it's not. It's still on in earnest. And we're coming into the penultimate run through the chicane, and they're under the white flag at least. All right. dress rehearsal time for the final lap, is it? I know I'm going into the final lap defending into turn 1, that's for sure. I do want to be in front coming through this final section. I've seen a couple of chinks in Ant's armour throughout the race on the exit of the final chicane, which suggests to me that I could probably hold him off to the line. I was also relatively confident that I could match him and potentially draft past for the win if he did get me through turn 1. And of course, I am always mindful of Vasco and Irwin in the background. Now I'm keeping right over to the right initially. Look where he is though. We've seen this earlier, that if he got so much deeper it was tougher, but I pushed a lot harder there. I'm a bit further over to the left, making sure I'm using more of the track this time. Push hard through there, come down into turn 3. We are still side by side at this point. I'm able to have a less compromised line. He thought about coming across, but I was still there. Run up the hill now. We're approaching that cresting turn 7 that we spoke about. Now's the time, if any, to go side by side. And we're still side by side here. I stay in 4th though, less complications, and we get it done. We get that move done there at turn 7, which was pleasing. But you see, I didn't go up to 5th there. I wanted to leave the less complications into that corner. There was so much going on, and you can see it didn't hurt me at all. So that's something to consider. Now, it all comes down through these final corners, of course. Here at 10. We want to maximise the track usage there to get the best run out. I wondered if he was going to look here, because he's not quite close enough though. He threatens, pulls back in. All right, good track usage there. Now this is the all-important run. And I'm 3/10 on exit. A little bit of draft catches up. What sort of a run do we get here? We're using all the track. We're flat. But he's closed in that final corner there, final 2 corners, to 1/10 and a half. I'm going to keep it narrow, make sure he's got to run a bit to the right. We're side by side. He's coming. He's got me. I'm pretty sure he got me. It says 1 there. Oh, I don't know, the overlays are gone, but I can tell you he got me. Damn it. That was a lot of fun, actually. Let's go and check out the race results just to confirm. It's going to come up. Yeah, Ant Jones, 14/1000ths of a second. And a bucket load of disappointment. But I actually sent a message to Ant after this one. I said, mate, those are the kind of races that you don't care ultimately the win and loss. It's the adventure or the journey along the way. It was so much fun. But yeah, it was a good one. I wanted to actually let's go back a lap. I think this is this the final lap? Let's just check. Yep, so that's the finish. Let's grab rear chase and see what. Let's do this. There you go. I'll zoom in a bit. There, and yeah, that'll do. Let's go back a bit. Oh, hang on. Now I've stuffed it up. I want to be up here. Yeah, up. I want to see what 14/1000ths looks like. And the run to the line. Look at this. Bang. He's got me there. Look, well before the line, he's got me. And as we cross the line, 14/1000ths looks a bit further than I would have expected, if I'm honest. But, you know, we're going decent pace there at that time in the race. That time on the track, I should say. And there's Vasco and Irwin out the back. I think Vasco had his own challenges with Irwin pushing a pace, and then he's the bridesmaid again, unfortunately, young Vasco. But gee, we had some fun while we were doing it. All right, folks, that might do us on this little adventure. It was a good fun race, of course, and for some reason my mouse doesn't want to go anywhere. Anyway, that'll do. It was a fun race. I really enjoyed it. Thank you to those in there. Make sure if you are interested, you join us, Top Split TV on Twitch on a Sunday night, Australian Eastern Time, 9:15 p.m. for the biggest Skippy action, the biggest Skippy race of the week each time. We've been averaging a strength of field of 5,300 this season, our best season yet, and thank you to all the drivers who make that possible. And the racing's been pretty spectacular this season. Very, very enjoyable to broadcast and watch. And again, that's on the back of the great racing drivers who show up each week. Top Split TV on Twitch is where you'll find that. Otherwise, on YouTube, this channel here, the Top Split is where you'll find all the race replays for that series and also videos like this. But thank you very much for joining us or joining me here on Top Split Racing, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. And until next time, ciao for now.